Hello and welcome to National Apprenticeship Week. This video is slightly different. We've got two apprenticeship ambassadors who really do push the need and the requirements for apprenticeships in the Northeast. So I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hello, my name's George Ritchie, MBE. I work for Industrial Technology Systems Limited, and I am a non-executive director for the company, but I also chair the Northeast Apprentice Ambassador Network, and I'm a member of the national group and chair the 9 regional chairs group in England.
And my name's Paula McMahon. I work for Sir Robert McAlpine and I'm the regional supporting officer there. I look after lots of apprentices and lots of people going for professional qualifications. I'm also an apprentice ambassador and I'm actually the Northeast Apprenticeship champion.
Thanks for that. So the format of this interview will be me kind of asking the frequently asked questions that we would get from those prospective or wannabe apprentices, and also the parents of those people as well. So the first question is, for me, who's wanting to be an apprentice, why should I apply for an apprenticeship?
Okay, you butt in, Paula, at any time. My view is there are a significant number of reasons, but one of the very first ones I would say is earn money while you learn and have no debt, especially if you look at apprenticeships. They are polar opposite of university degrees in terms of finance. And certainly, you can still end up with a degree, but the prima facie one is you are earning whilst you're learning. And that is a positive in my book. The second view that I would take is there's tons of choice of apprenticeships. A lot of people don't think that there are many, but apprenticeships are available in 1,500 job roles today, and that's in 170 different industries. And they come from engineering, manufacturing, digital, healthcare, IT, teaching, cybersecurity, journalism. So there are a whole raft of real quality roles there for people to go into. The third point I would say is you're gaining real world experience when doing an apprenticeship. You are gaining that experience away from the artificial environment of the classroom and the lecture room, because, that's something you're learning, the practical application of putting the theory into practice. And but many apprenticeships do have classroom-based sessions, but the majority of this is learned on the job. The fourth point I would say is it strengthens your CV, because basically in my book, doing apprentice is an excellent way of doing this, because you are packing a lot of experience in the term that you are an apprentice. And I think that's very, very important. And the other thing that I also think is very key is that there's an excellent structured training opportunities for you. The training providers will work with your employer to make sure that you are getting a fully structured training, meaning that you won't be left to fend for yourself. And the training includes sort of full induction program, detailed training plans, regular progress reviews, opportunities to implement your course-based learning, and you get mentoring and support. The other thing I think is important is whilst you are an apprentice, you are actually building your contact base. You are actually meeting many people. You've got the opportunity to actually gain from them and also use them maybe in the future when you think of a new career. But it also means you're meeting colleagues, you're meeting managers, you're meeting senior staff in the company, and hopefully that's all going to help you with your progression as you're looking to move through in your career. The other thing is you gain a nationally recognised qualification. And as well as getting lots of experience, you gain this qualification, which is recognised by employers alike, and basically many people in the sectors recognise this qualification just as equally as people who come up with a degree. The other thing is that as an apprentice, you've got the opportunity, because you've got the foot in the door with an employer, to actually think about progressing within the business as you start to think about future opportunities of how you wish to develop. And an apprenticeship is an ideal way of working your way up in the business. My final point, I think, would be that apprenticeship actually gives you the opportunity to gain confidence. And what I mean about that is, because of the interaction you have to have with a wide range of people in different situations, is very key in actually allowing you to feel confident to develop your personal skills and interpersonal skills going forward. And there's positive implications for your personal development and social life too. Don't know what you think, Paula, but that's the sort of thing that I would put forward as why be an apprentice.
Yeah, so for me, for all of the reasons that George has said, that basically in that same length of time that you would have only have gained your qualifications, you're actually learning and earning and gaining experience all at the same time. And so you're a much more well-rounded person in whatever profession you choose at the end of that same time period, with no student debt.
I think that's very appealing to most, that very last little piece that you said there, Paula. Now, you both have a vast knowledge of apprenticeship, so that begs the question then, have either of yourselves completed an apprenticeship?
Should you go first then, Paula, and I'll go second this time?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So when I left school, I started straight away at age 16 at my local council. And I was called a trainee then, but it's the equivalent of what's now known as an apprenticeship. And I was really lucky. I had a structured training where I went around all of the different departments. So I got a really good grounding for the rest of my career. So even some of the departments that I didn't end up going into that field, I've got an awareness of them because of this structured training and because I was mentored all the way through. And that's one of the advantages of apprenticeships. And did it transform my life? Absolutely. That good grounding and also the qualifications that I got along the way have basically formed a career that I've never changed. I've always stayed in civil engineering, and I think it's because of that good grounding where I started as a trainee, as an apprentice.
And a woman in engineering and developing a career in that and doing really well too, which I think is important to think about young women coming into it. Similar to Paula, I started my working life as an apprentice in engineering many years ago, and I really progressed through my apprenticeship, taking a lot of qualifications as well as gaining a lot of experience, and eventually finishing my higher national certificate at Hartlepool College of Further Education. I did so well in my apprenticeship that the company I worked with at the time, they wanted me to go on to university, and they sponsored me to go on to do a degree in mechanical engineering and applied science. And that set me on a career track, which was not my initial thoughts, but the benefits were such that, it made a significant difference to me, the grounding in the apprenticeship. And also my career in the companies I've worked for, I succeeded through hard work and a willingness to continuously learn, and I made positive contributions to those. And I eventually, went from an apprenticeship all the way up to the boardroom throughout my long career in industry. And all of that transformed my life, given the skills, the education, and the experiences that I'd had, and also the opportunities that I was given by people who recognized I had some contributions that I could make to their organizations. And all of that was because of the foundations that I'd had in my apprenticeship. And it also gave me the quality of life that I and my family have been able to enjoy for many, many years.
I think what you've both mentioned there is apprenticeships now are, packed with knowledge, skills and behaviours. So it's worth noting that the minimum duration of an apprenticeship has to be 12 months of any apprenticeship, and also that the apprentice has to work for a minimum of 30 hours a week. Now, on the back of that minimum 30 hours a week, I think the big question parents and prospective apprentices want to know is, how much can they get paid?
Do you want to answer, Paula?
Yeah, so I'll just read it out, yeah. So apprentices in the first year of the apprenticeships, regardless of what age they are entitled to the minimum hourly rate of £4.15. So it might change from April the 1st, but that's what it is at the moment. But if an apprentice is over at the age of 25 in the second year of the apprenticeship, they'll actually get a bit more. They're entitled to a minimum of £8.72 an hour. But obviously that's the minimum, and some employers may actually give a different amount, and it may actually be slightly more.
Thanks for that, Paula. You mentioned a few things there that were age related. So are we then saying that anybody of any age now can become an apprentice?
Yes, I mean, that's something that many people just do not understand, that since we had the 2017 apprenticeship reforms that came into law, actually, that it allows anyone of any age to become an apprentice, and there's now no upper age limit at all. And in the role I perform across the region, we've even got apprentices in their late 50s and early 60s in one particular case. So yeah, there is no age. Basically, you can become an apprentice at 16 years of age and any age thereafter.
That's excellent to know. And for myself, I completed a level 3 apprenticeship in engineering at Hartlepool College when I was 16. I started, so I did a 4-year apprenticeship then. So because I've already done an apprenticeship previously, can I then not become an apprentice again, or can I do a second and third apprenticeship now?
Go on, Paula, you can answer that one.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So regardless of what you've done previously, you can become an apprentice. And apprentices start at level 2 and they go all the way up to level 8, which is a PhD. There's people that I know that have changed careers, and there's people that I know that have enhanced the career as a result of doing an apprenticeship. And basically, you just need to prove that there's sufficient new learning each time. So what our apprentices have had to do is you fill in the knowledge, skills and behaviour where you start. And then we looked and said, yes, we can get you to the enhanced knowledge, skills and behaviour by the end of this apprenticeship. And so we showed that there was sufficient new learning. And because they were going to learn new things, we've got a range of ages and a range of types of people that are on apprenticeships at Sir Robert McAlpine. So that initial skills assessment is the foundation that you build upon, and all of that previous knowledge and experience, you say, I'm enhancing it during my apprenticeship, and then at the end you do your end point assessment, which shows that massive amount of increased learning that you've gained during it.
And in a previous employer that I was supporting as a non-executive director, they've actually moved people who've been apprentices in the past into new apprenticeships that are required to help their business going forward. So a lot of businesses and employers now are looking at that, to look at how they develop their people to actually taking on the new roles that many businesses require.
Absolutely.
Thanks for that. Really appreciate that answer. Finally, from me, so you're both part of the North East Apprenticeship Ambassador Network. Could you just give us an overview of what that is and what that offers?
Yeah. I think basically a lot of people are still not understanding the just why the Apprentice Ambassador Network exists. And basically, there is a lack of understanding. I think between us, Paula and I'll give you a bit of insight. The network really is a group of employers who are totally committed to apprenticeships. That is our prima facie sort of raison d'etre. Our main aim is really to spearhead the drive to engage new employers to commit to apprenticeships delivery within England, because there is still insufficient employers committed to apprenticeships, and we need to actually increase that greatly, certainly amongst the SME population. Our ambassadors support and influence a wide range of key stakeholders. In addition to that, we include schools, colleges, such as the work we do with yourselves in the Hartlepool College, local enterprise partnerships within the local authorities, employers themselves and their supply chain, plus trade associations and employment bodies. So we've got quite a broad remit and quite a large reach right across, certainly in the northeast region. Certainly I cover from everything down from Berwick to North Yorkshire, from the Pennines across to the North Sea, and basically we champion everything associated with apprenticeships. We also support marketing, publicity, events such as National Apprenticeship Week. We need to raise awareness on apprenticeships right throughout a broad spectrum. We also are mentors to other employers who are not as experienced with apprenticeships, and we help that as much as we possibly can. But we are also the recognised body from the Department of Education and the Education Skills Funding Agency in providing insight into the government departments on what is actually happening in reality on the ground in particular regions and in all aspects of apprenticeships. So Paula, would you like to add from being one of my ambassadors?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'll do it from two streams. The reason why I want to be on a personal level is that I think it's fun, and we find out about things earlier so we can actually act upon them. It gives us the opportunities to actually get involved more. And we've done things like the Sage Apprenticeship Bake Off last year, and now it's an online version. And that's a great way to be part of a community. So and it is fun, and you feel as if you're making a difference. From a Sir Robert McAlpine, from a company perspective, we find out about things in a much easier way than others. So instead of having to hunt for information on all sorts of rules that are changing, all sorts of benefits that we can actually gain, we find out about them straight away. And we also then can learn from each other in the network, and we share ideas and share thoughts. And we also have opportunities to help shape the future of apprenticeships as well, as an organisation. So we're actually helping the sector. So, for example, the Institute of Apprenticeships has asked for trailblazers to help shape the future of almost all of the different types of apprenticeships. And George said there's over 1,500 of them. And so Robert McAlpine, through myself, are going to help look at the construction ones, so we can actually help match up the qualifications against our actual needs as a company and as an industry. So there's lots of different benefits for joining the North East Apprenticeship Ambassador Network, and whichever one's in other people's areas. Yeah,
true. That's very true, Paula. And the thing about it is this opportunity with yourself in the college is another way of us being able to get out there and get the message across to people that we are really here to help, to advise, and to support organisations, especially employers. so that we can give young people and older people the opportunities to fulfill the needs of the UK PLC to actually grow. And you know, please use us, because we are there to help. And basically, you know, it's something that we are passionate about. Everyone who's an ambassador is a very, very passionate person, and they are totally committed to making a difference.
The passion and commitment certainly shines through with your answers there, so I really appreciate that. But finally, for me, just like to thank you both for your time today. It is really appreciated, and thank you for supporting this event.
Not a problem. We're delighted, aren't we, Paula?
We certainly are.
And if there's anything we can do, Gary, in the future, just give us a call.
Will do. Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much. Cheers, Paula, my love. Cheers.
Bye.